Hello, my friends. Welcome back to my math channel. We are looking at Eureka Math, and we are on the module 3, lesson 3. So this is what we're going to do today. We're going to add fractions with sums between 1 and 2. Okay? Now, let's do something first so we can rationalize the answer. So we look at 1/3, and we know that 1/3, as you can see on the picture here, is less than 1, and 1/4 is also less than 1. So the answer is going to be probably, this is how we rationalize things. If this is less than 1 and this is less than 1, the answer is probably going to be we can logically say or rationalize the answer should be less than 1. Less than 1. All right, let's prove it now. And also, I showed you here the pictures for each of these fractions. And as you can see, 1/3 is greater. Okay, now, let's do a step number 1. What is step number 1? Multiply the opposite denominators to find equivalent fractions. So let's write this down. 1/3 plus 1/4. Okay, so now we're going to write the 1/3 again. And we're going to multiply it by the opposite denominator, which is, if you look at this, the opposite denominator is 4. So we're going to set up right here. And excuse me, I'm not going to do that yet. So this should be 4 and 4. So this is how we're going to find the equivalent fraction. Now we're going to write the plus symbol. Now we're going to multiply 1/4 by the opposite denominator, which is 3. And we're going to do the same thing to the numerator and the denominator, so that won't change the value of the fraction. So now let's do the multiplication. And I'm going to show it here. 1 times 4 equals 4, and 3 times 4 equals 12. That's our denominator. Plus 1 times 3 equals 3, and 4 times 3 equals 12. Okay? When we now we have the equivalent fractions, my friend. My friends, our second step is going to be to add the equivalent fractions. Well, let's do that right now. When we have equivalent fractions and this denominator is similar, then you write the denominator, you add the top, and then you're done with that problem. Okay, now, these problems do not need to be simplified. I'm just showing this to you because this is coming up later on. We have to do a step 3. We have to simplify. And we're going to divide or decompose a number. Let's try one more. Okay, now we have 1/2. We know that 1/2 is less than 1. And we know that 3/4, it's also less than 1. But if you notice here, if you are able to switch this around, so this is almost 1. And if we switch this one around to be able to place this right here, this will complete a whole and 1/4. Notice that that could be the answer, but let's see if it's true. So that will be how we can logically say that the answer is going to be um, more than 1. More than 1. So answer, let me see how we're going to write answer. So the answer is what we don't know yet. It's going to be more than 1. So this is going to be the symbol here, more than 1. But it's going to be, the answer is going to be less than 2. Okay? Let's go ahead and do this. So our first step is to, let's do multiply, find the common, find equivalent fraction by finding a common denominator. 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 3/4. Okay, let's find the common denominator. So we're going to multiply like the instructions say here. We're going to multiply 1/2 times 2. And we have to do 2 over 2 because that assures us that we don't have to, we don't change the value of the fraction. Now we're going to write 3/4, 3/4. So I copied this from here, and this is going to be multiplied by the opposite denominator, which is 2 times, and then we have to multiply 2 over 2. So when we do that, our total is going to be 1 times 2 equals 2, and 2 times 2 equals 4. That will be one equivalent fraction. 3 times 2 equals 6, and 4 times 2 equals 8. That will be our second equivalent fraction. Okay, there's a mistake right here, my friends. I know what that is. The mistake is here. I see it. So this number, the 1/2, has to be multiplied by 4. That is the problem right here. Okay, good. See, this is what happens in mathematics. You got to be on the lookout. Otherwise, you're going to be making errors. So this should be multiplied by 4. And we do this right here. Again, 1 times 4 equals 4. And 2 times 4 equals 8. Now we have common denominators. And this is easier now to do. That's going to be our third step. Our second step. My mistake. So our let me grab the right tool. So we're going to move this here, and our next step is going to be to add those fractions, right? So 4/8 plus 6/8 equals 4 plus 6 equals 10, and the denominator must be the same. Oh, look, we have to simplify. This one we have to simplify. And how do you simplify? Let me show you the 2 ways in which we can simplify an answer. So this is the answer. So one way to simplify it is you say, okay, can this number be divided by 2? And the answer is yes. So the 10 is divided by 2, and the remainder is 5. And the 8 is divided by 2, and the remainder, the quotient is 4. Now here's another thing. Then we have to do on step number 4. Step 4. We have to, because this is an improper fraction, we have to improper fraction. We have to find the mixed number. So we're gonna now convert 5/4 to a mixed number because it's an imperfect fraction, mixed number. Okay, and there's a couple of ways you can do that. So let's grab 5/4. That means 5/4 is the same as 5 divided by 4. So the 4 goes into 1. 1 times 4 equals 4. The remainder is 1. So how do we write the answer? So the answer, we write it like this. A pool next to the house. That means this is the order in which you write the numbers. The pool next to the house. So what is a pool? A 1. That's our quotient. The remainder is the roof of the house. And the divisor is the groups that we make in this particular division. So now we wrote this correctly. And this is why I use this little tool so students can do that. Another way to find the mixed number, you can also do this. You got 5/4, and you can decompose 4/4 and 1/4. So that will give us also a mixed number. How? Well, this right here, this becomes 1. 1 plus 1/4 equals 1 and 1/4. My friends, I appreciate you coming to my channel and watching these videos. Signing out, your coach, Mr. Magno, and make sure you review these problems if you need assistance.